everyone, and welcome back to This Week in Guns. It's brought to you by Patriot Patch Company, VZGrips, MAF Corporation, Primary Arms, and 4 Patriots Food Establishment Corporation. I'm your host, Matthew Rosier, and we're doing it a little different this time. You're in my office, yes, my regular people office, and I'm joined today in person by a rat.
I have my rat tool.
Yes, we both actually
I can
have.
make it spin. I won't do this the whole time, though. That'd be exhausting.
Sweet. Oh yeah, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. It's been a long day. We've been building guns.
Yes, is that what we've been up to? We've played with a lot of industrial tools.
That's true.
And made people on Twitter very upset.
Yeah, we told them that a rock tumbler that we were using to polish metal was a gun eater, and a lot of people believe that a gun eater is a thing.
Yeah.
Because the rock polisher is sort of like,
right.
And then it looks like it's eating your gun, and you're like, oh, but I'll make another one. I'll just go buy another because of you.
Right.
It's our master scheme. Being in the gun industry, we make people think that we're destroying them, so they go and buy more.
Right. And on top of that, we were removing an Enfield barrel that was completely trashed,
That's
stuck
true.
in an action.
Yep.
And the only way to remove those barrels is to relieve the stress inside the receiver.
They lock themselves in there really tight. I assume it's sort of a thought that I've been having is that it's a result of a lot of firing over time, and that the sort of rifling tightens them.
Right.
Because it would be weird if you had it loosen them, and they just get in there so doggone tight.
Well, so the only way you can get rid of them is to sometimes chop them at the chamber, and then hog it out on the mill.
Yeah, mill some flats, great big flats into the barrel, and then put it in a vise, and then
right. And so the point of us saying that is that we took a video of me chopping it off right at the chamber, and of course I was emulating one of those, I'm Mr. Military dude, and you don't need a gun.
Nobody needs guns.
this, and I chop, and people got so unbelievably mad, and then tons of people were like, "Oh, you're a felon! You're a felon! You made SPR!" Despite the fact that this was an antique receiver, not attached to a stock or anything, and also it doesn't have a barrel anymore. If
he's cutting the chamber in half, and very clearly not intending to make a rifle,
right?
Because it didn't have rifling to begin with. It's gone.
Yeah,
the Indians made sure it didn't have any more rifling.
Yeah, so. People are very dumb. And then the one that hasn't come out yet is the bluing tank, which actually, that Drake got beautifully hot salt blued. And, of course, I said it was the gun acid.
Yeah, we put the guns in acid because we put the guns in the gun eater, and everybody was like, oh, you could still rebuild them, or that didn't actually destroy them. Well, yeah, idiot. This one's been in the gun acid. It's gone.
So it's been a lot of fun.
Hey guys, Studio Matt here. I just wanted to say real quick, 1, thank you for watching, and 2, we actually put together a bunch of really, I think they're really great reviews while Ivan was visiting, and we're going to be putting those on the other channel, which is actually called FUD Blasters. That's the firearms specific channel, and these reviews are going to be a little different from what you're usually used to, i.e., it's not just paid fawning over how wonderful a gun is when it's actually either middling or average or terrible. So wander on over to FUD Blasters and subscribe to that YouTube channel, and you will see this tomorrow, which will be Sunday, the first of several reviews posted. So check it out. And back to past Matt.
But so next up, oh boy, there is no better evidence of the complete worthlessness of an Ivy League education than reading just line after line of David Hogg word salading at an NPR reporter.
It's so bad.
So yeah, this is David Hogg. He's joined the Harvard Shooting Club, which I'm sure they are not like Patagonia jacket wearing over-under.
No. Yeah, that's exactly
jacket.
What they are.
Yeah, no, they certainly
exactly
are.
What they are.
They don't have good.
Yeah.
Don't have good.
You know what, David Hogg? Pose him up. Pose him up. Where the Drake? Where the Drake? Where your Drake?
Lack and check.
Hey, where your Drake?
Lack and check.
Watch your Drake, bro.
But I hope that can't be construed at this point. But anyway, find the nuance in the gun control degree. So I was just reading this language that he uses, and he speaks with that flavor of English that you can only speak after having been completely immersed in like a Ivy League non-cum laude, $500,000 education for a long period of time.
Right.
So let's read some of this here. The reality is, right now, I'd rather focus on what we can agree in, which is that, we need to do something. We need to act, and we agree that gun violence, no matter if we're on the left or the right, is unacceptable. School shooting, daily act of violence, ridiculous numbers of gun suicide that are preventable are unacceptable. We need to do something about it. So what I try to do instead is, I say, whenever I'm in conversations like this, so there was this past semester, I don't mean to dwell on this point, but this past semester, after one of the many unfortunate shootings that have happened, I decided the only thing that I haven't done at this point was learn as much as I can about guns and how to use them, operate them, and clean them and fire them safely and responsibly, and it just goes on in this fashion for ages.
It's a talent that Obama had too.
Yeah.
He'll say talk about all of the things that he did like 1,000 times in a sentence, and then like after 10 minutes of listening to him, it's like, dang, I just got stun-locked by stupid, and he hasn't actually said a darn thing.
Yeah, no, that was like true politicking, which I think we've talked about that on the show before.
Yep.
That's something I almost miss, is a politician's ability to just soothe you.
They will say so many words, and you're like, oh, many people. You're like, oh, that's great. And then you stop and analyze what they said, and it's like, you didn't say
anything. You didn't say a damn word. But I just thought that was funny. Like, this is, just think about that, though. This is what Harvard people talk like.
Yeah,
and that, like, don't be like, oh, no, he's not like, there's much smarter people at Harvard.
Oh, really? Where are they?
I'm sure there's people from older money. But it's this is one soapbox. I'm getting on the soapbox. Ivy League's a sham. It's a total scam. I don't know who's in charge of it, but someone is.
It's the poison Ivy League.
Yeah, it's like, so how do you get into an Ivy League school? You no-life it through high school, or, you have a dipshit story. Right. So if you no-life it through high school so that you have basically, if you got turbo good grades in high school, it means that you did not properly know how to apportion your time in life, right?
Right.
Because that's when you should have been discovering who you are and developing certain skills. I'm sorry, but school, and especially like public school and stuff like that, it does nothing to enhance you as a human being. So from that crop of people that no-lifed it in high school to get straight A's, they then sub-select from the people who no-lifed it the hardest, had the most, I don't know what to say, I don't want to say autistic, the weirdo parents, and then subset of that, who also went to the school for no-life assholes before.
Right.
So you wind up with a bunch of socially maladjusted, like, fucking shitheads that don't know the first thing about anything.
And then you pump them into this vacuum chamber where the only smell is how great their own farts are.
Yes, where it's like, you're here. You did it. Did what? And guess what? Fortune 500 companies and shit will pay these people to sit in a chair.
To keep a chair warm.
Yeah, and warm it. I have met in my practice and before I was even a lawyer, I met so many Ivy people. I have never been impressed with one. Have you?
I don't know that I've met a ton of them, of course, because a lot of the draw of those schools is law or like business oriented management stuff. Or what did Hogg do, like philosophy or something? It's philosophy or political science or one of those degrees that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Like one of the greatest scams of all time was medical doctors taking the term doctor away from people who engineers and architects and these sorts of things.
Right.
And then along that same scam was political scientists taking the word science. There's nothing scientific about it. It's terrible.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. When was the last time you ran into a political scientist?
I don't know, but as I understand it, their job involves making and reading PowerPoints. Of course, look at me talking, because an engineer's job is making and reading Excel. So
right. I do some Excel. But yeah, so that's David Hogg's little thing, whatever. That was the next one. This is great. The White House has met with police chiefs on how to expand assault weapon bans.
yeah, this is a hot button issue. There's a lot of people that get shot by assault weapons. In fact, it's less than the number of people who get stabbed.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't worry about that. Yeah, that's...
We gotta stop the lesser thing because it sells.
Yeah. Biden administration quietly met with several big city police chiefs on ways that law enforcement can help better massage a gun control message to the public.
Huh.
Holy shit. That's suspicious.
Here's this poison pill. Thank you.
Would you like to taste? But yeah. Why would the admin, whose purpose is not to pass laws, learn from law enforcement how to massage a law to be accepted by the public?
It's because I forget if it was on this show that we talked about this before, but there was one point in time where all of the lobbyists that hung out in Congress hung out around members of Congress, like senators and representatives. Like all of the lobbying that happened was through them, and that since the 90s and through to the current present day, like anytime that you watch C-SPAN and it's footage in the halls of Congress, there's no lobbyists. It's all staffers and Congress people, because all of the lobbying that goes on is on the executive level. Because the federal government is in such free fall when it comes to the system of checks and balances that you've got an ATF that just sits there and writes rules, and for a fact, in fact the emails out there are public. The CDC, the ATF have been successfully lobbied by anti-gunners to go after people, to write rules, to crack down on things. Like, something that is a power that is...
Frame a receiver rule.
Right, it's expressly a power...
That was requested.
Right, is a power expressly reserved for Congress that, the administrative state has now managed to grasp, and that makes it so easy to have money run politics, where you have the big anti-gun groups had sit-down meetings with Biden's administration and with the ATF, and that's how the frame a receiver rule got written.
But why the hell are they talking to cops?
I don't know. I guess it's same reasons, right? It helps the pill go down easier.
But here's the thing. So, like, you think about what cops... It reminds me of what happened in the 80s, right? Like, where they pushed up, import restrictions, the first assault weapons ban. Yep. You had cops who were sitting there saying, our boys are scared of... The micro Uzi.
We're going to be outgunned.
Yeah, we're going to be outgunned. And they were like out, and it worked.
And then what is
and
it?
So like, is that it worked, and so they're thinking of going back to that?
There's like 20 cops shot a year or whatever, and a lot of that is like cops shot
it's
themselves.
Like the 25th most dangerous profession,
right.
But so you don't get that kind of crap in most of America, in real America.
No.
But look. Let's just take a look at some of the names of the people that were meeting with these unnamed White House officials. California Highway Patrol Commissioner Sean Duray, LAPD Deputy Chief Kowalski, Nashville Deputy Chief Gilder, San Francisco Department Chief Scott, Baltimore Acting Commissioner Worley, and San Diego Chief Nisleet. Quelle surprise.
Yeah, a lot of California going on.
Yeah, who cares? But and notably, mostly states that passed Bruin response laws.
Yeah.
Which, fascinating. What is it? Gun industry trade groups estimate there are at least 24 million AR-15 and AK-47 style rifles are in circulation in the U.S. Nah.
It's more than that.
It's gotta be more than that.
More than that.
Well, unless it is AK-47, in which case it may be correct.
There's a chance.
Yeah, no, but at AKM, no way. It's gotta be more. All right, next, guys.
Because we got at least 2 of them here.
VZGrips.com. It's a good company. They support the show, and with promotional code ThisWeek15, you can get a discount on your order. That's a good thing. So now, let's see, what here can we get VZGrips for? What about this one?
That right there, that is where I would put my VZGrips AK grip if they made them.
Yeah, if they made them. And you know, right here, that's where I'd put my VZGrips front handguard.
That'd be so good.
If they made one.
I'd put it there.
And right here is where I'd put my VZGrips light mount. If they made one.
That'd be good.
Hey. VZGrips.
Don't make them for Yugos.
Don't
make them for Yugos.
Those aren't good.
Only for AKMs. Thank you.
Please, yeah, thanks. Have a good one. What is it? Well, let's check. Nope.
Not yet. One day.
Rifle grips.
They'll do it. We'll make them do it. You made them make anime grips, so with the power of anime, anything is possible.
Guys, when you order something off VZGrips, and in the comments, please put Draco grip when.
Yeah, when's the AK grips coming? I heard about them. I heard about them on the show.
Yeah, on the show. So yeah, check them out. VZGrips.com. Great Florida company. Great OEM. Excellent quality grips. No joke. That's not just an ad plug. You couldn't pay me to say the word excellent. I really do. I really do like them. So yeah, check them out, and don't forget promotional code this week THISWEEK15. All right, what do we got next? Oh yeah, this shit. So what did you think of this one?
So I had a mixture of thoughts at first, and my first thought was, how do I make fun of Everytown, because that's fun to do.
Yeah.
But it sort of took my thoughts a little while to stew in the little brain pan.
Right.
But the sort of one that I came to...
It's like an oil pan, but wetter.
That's true. And everything slides off easier. Even easier. So the thing that sort of ended up sticking with me is Everytown, being a gun control advocacy group, has a list of things that they advocate for. Mm-hmm. They want universal background checks. They want everybody to have to record keep all of the guns they have. They want the state and or federal government to be able to come into your house at any time and inspect your guns, and you make sure you still got them, do inventory checks, and make sure that anything else is in line, right? They can, otherwise do sometimes push people around even whenever they're outside of their authority to do so.
Right.
Seems like something Everytown would like. Mm-hmm. So Everytown then published a report saying that a surprising number of people are subject to the things that they want, only they were complaining about this. They were complaining about people having to put up with the laws that they want.
Yeah. So
it was a very strange thing.
We've got it pulled up here. This is the shit they're complaining about. Over half of gun dealers are in residential areas.
And of course, a lot of this comes down to just the way zoning works, especially in smaller areas where there's gas stations that are in residential areas.
1 in 5 public elementary schools is within half a mile of a gun dealer.
That's 20%.
Did you know did you know most elementary schools are in cities?
Did you know that? Weird.
Did you know that cities were founded and created for the purpose of putting things close?
No.
Listen, I've been called a conspiracy theorist before, but it's true.
And of course, I've already seen some people doing number crunching on this, and evidently, the only way you can make that true is if you include elementary schools that are just school, they're owned by the school district and support an elementary school, but kids don't actually go there. It's like a bus depot.
But so here's the thing where people are complaining about is, and rightfully so, is this completely busted searchable map that shows all of the licensees.
Names, addresses, and with that you can punch that straight into Google and it gets you phone numbers of FFLs.
And this is... It's not good.
Right.
So on the one hand, when you sign up for an FFL, you know it's going to be public information.
And it probably shouldn't have to be. It's just a holdover from the pre-internet times.
But it is behind a couple layers of obfuscation.
Right.
So it is hard to just get a list of all FFLs nearby you.
You have to go and know how to use the website and do some data parsing. So there's at least one step.
Yeah. So now they've made it simpler. And especially... if you're concerned about kitchen table FFLs, that's a robbery risk, right?
Right. Absolutely.
Why?
Because part of their gist for this, of course, they want everybody to be subject to the same stuff FFLs are. They're not quiet about that. Not although in this report they seem to forget to mention that.
Right.
But their sort of push here is that oh, gun dealers aren't actually regulated very tightly, and only very few of them get inspected. And sometimes when they get inspected, there's up to 4 violations. That's so many.
Yeah.
Which
like if you put
a violation can be somebody said that they were white when they're Hispanic.
Well,
as a violation.
That's hard. That's hard. A violation that might not be able to be a violation. A violation could be, and has been, somebody not selecting Hispanic or Latino,
right?
Which is a racist, bizarre, thing. Right?
Why does that matter?
Or a guy that I know who buys guns is Hispanic, and then refuses to select the race.
Yep.
Because he put Hispanic. That's a violation if you let him do it.
Yep. People putting heights that don't match their driver's license has been cited as a violation before, which is like the difference of an inch.
Yeah.
And of course, they
got solutions.
The other push they've got here is that FFLs are the number one source for guns that get stolen, which I guess it makes sense, right? Because people steal guns from where there are guns, although a lot of those guns are stolen in transit to FFLs, which isn't the FFL's fault.
It's almost as if, hey, if we make it so almost all guns have to go through this thing,
that's where people will go to get guns.
Yeah, guns might go through that thing.
And because their push is, oh my gosh, guns could get stolen from people's houses, they have then published a list of people's houses.
In a searchable map where you can put your zip code.
Right, and some states do stipulate home FFLs have to have security systems or whatever, but most states, as I understand it, do not.
Well, you do have to have safe storage federally, but that's...
Right, that's like...
It's still, if you want to get in, and that's the thing, is like any gun shop that's been burgled, can tell you, if they want in, they're getting in. And so let's see what's their recommendations. What are their effective policy solutions?
Dox them.
Federal recommendations. Congress could update and modernize standards for licensed gun dealers and provide ATF and law enforcement with better tools to identify dealers who fail to meet those standards by passing the Federal Firearms Licensee Act. Key policy changes here include increasing the frequency of inspections to require annual inspections for dealers. That'd
be really difficult for them to pull off.
That would require a lot of manpower. Well, for dealers most connected to crime guns, and every 5 years for all others. So that means if you're a big shop, because it's all a numbers game, guys.
Which I imagine is like 1,000 or more guns a year.
It's all a numbers game. That's it. It's just like guns are just like cars, right? The most popular, like in the years when Toyota was the most popular car, they were the most popular vehicle to be used in vehicular crime. It's just a numbers game. Requiring third parties, such as gun shows and websites, to run background checks on all firearm sales. It's like...
That has nothing to do with FFLs. FFLs have to do that anyway. An FFL shows up to a gun show. Of course, there are the ones that are like, oh, these are private inventory guns, and you have to sit there and squint your eyes like,
Closing the indicted dealer loophole so that gun dealers under indictment cannot buy or sell firearms. That's not a fucking loophole.
It's not a loophole at all. In fact, we had a war over the question about whether or not people who aren't actually convicted of a crime can be denied their rights, and the answer to that war was the British lost. pretty soundly resolved it. I don't know if there's rehashing required at this point, but
doubling the cost of an FFL.
Yeah, this one on its nose, right on its nose. They're sort of admitting what the push here is, and it's to make getting guns more difficult.
Which is what I've always been saying. There's one thing that gun control succeeds at uniformly, and it's making it more expensive.
Yep,
it's the one thing that it always succeeds at. Gun industry profits have soared. According to fucking what? And compared to what?
During coronavirus, their profits went way up because there were gun companies going out of business like crazy, especially during Trump. Like Remington managed to go out of business.
Licensing fees for gun dealers have not increased since 1993.
They should never. You know what? In fact, it should.
They're too high.
It should be free.
Especially because you're saying if you're going to sell something that's a fundamental right, you have to go through this gatekeeper.
It should be tax deductible. It should be, if you have an FFL, it should be tax deductible.
Because think about it. They have created a gatekeeper for the exercise of a fundamental right. And they're saying it's too expensive. It's too cheap. It has to be more expensive.
Which to me, it's hard to wrap your head around, but...
Requiring video surveillance, modernized record systems, and employee background checks. requiring dealers to retain records beyond the current 20-year threat. So how many fucking crimes get solved with a 5-year-old trace?
That second to last one there, that's something they actually ended up passing in Illinois separately.
Yeah.
With it was Everytown having the ear of the politicians there. And that was the one that everybody was mad at Springfield Armory for, because Springfield Armory ended up supporting it so long as initially big manufacturers, so ones not at residential addresses, were exempted. And then you know what they did the next session?
Took it out.
Removed the exemption for big manufacturers.
That's what you get,
Springfield sat there sitting on their hands, and I believe they deserve hate forevermore for the fact that they're willing to play ball.
Yep. Don't buy that shit. But yeah, the requiring records in perpetuity is so stupid. It doesn't help.
It doesn't make sense, and it's especially for some big manufacturers, it's just plainly not possible.
They even come down to local recommendations.
Well, because I don't know if it was here, it was just on Twitter they were advocating this, but they were trying to say that local zoning should not let you do this. Local zoning should just deny FFLs for residential addresses or whatever.
Local law enforcement officers can contribute to safer licensed gun dealership practices through publishing gun tracing reports and prosecuting rogue dealers. Local gun tracing reports should feature data on the number and locations of recovered firearms, plus the dealer and state they originated from. It's vital for both identifying patterns of negligence and capturing the impact of local efforts made to address these problems.
So here's a little bit of theory, a little bit of a nugget from my...
Oh, wait, hold on. Here we go. Once a pattern of negligent behavior is established, local and state officials should prosecute rogue gun sellers. In one example, the Minnesota Attorney General filed a civil lawsuit against a large retail with several FFLs for negligently selling dozens of firearms that were later involved in crimes around the Twin Cities.
The nugget that this gives me is a question that one of our buddy Night Racists.
Oh yeah, he writes for the Trace.
Right, he writes for the Trace. But he had pointed out he'd been trying to get an FFL in a city, and they ended up denying him after giving him the run around and saying that they would accept it, but they have a policy of denying them because they just don't want any more in the city, which, okay, that should be unconstitutional on its face.
Right.
They shouldn't be able to blanket say it's impossible. Probably grounds for a lawsuit around that. But they had, of course, in this city, like most cities, they have trouble with people doing gun sales, illegally, whereas people selling large quantities.
Trucks.
Right, they're selling large quantity of guns out of the back of the ice cream trucks.
Yeah.
Biden's ice cream trucks.
Normal.
It's a well documented thing.
Yeah.
But evidently,
we've all done it.
Evidently, there was some hearing in the city where they were saying there's all these people going and doing all this big bad, and they're dealing guns out of the gun trucks and just handing them out for free. But we had one person in the city try and do it right. We needed to have more people try and do it right. And of course, the funny thing is they denied him for trying to do it right. Okay, you stooges. But the thing the conclusion that sort of made me reach is no one is going to jump through all the hoops and do all the paperwork and in places where it's required, carry the insurance and get a business location and get licenses for this and licenses for that and sign up to pay state sales taxes and get a credit card processed. Oh my God, it's months and months of paperwork and pain, and it's expensive, and it continues to add up in cost because it's not some of the stuff you don't pay for once, right? No one is going to go through all of that just to sell guns illegally. And you know why? There's so many guns in this country, you can just freaking sell them. If you want to be an illegal gun dealer, you just sell guns. You'd go to gun shows and it's like, oh, these are my private inventory. And there's guys who do it without...
We all know the guys who do it.
There's guys who do it without meaning any harm. Yeah. And they should be able to do it, right? Don't get me wrong in thinking that... Don't take me out of context in saying that I want everyone to have an FFL to sell a gun. That's stupid. But the people who go through all these hoops, rogue gun dealers... oh God, there has to be single-digit numbers of people who would be stupid enough.
And there are probably people who are if that exists, it would be the guy who's been doing it for so long and he's now 80-something years old and he just forgot.
Right.
It just doesn't, he doesn't remember anymore.
Because to go through all of those hoops and all those requirements when you know what you can do, you could just sell guns off books, no paperwork, don't tell anybody about it.
Yeah.
And of course people do this. People get away with doing it with Glock switches in the cities. And
we all remember the 8th grade graduation.
You know who Everytown's really trying to clamp down on? They do this great big report. They do all this investigation and all this data crunching. They're coming after people who go out of their way and spend all of their money to try and be compliant. It's just bonkers.
And then they dox them.
Right. All of this energy and money they put into this, they could. I guarantee you, they could have found. Not that I think that this is a noble thing to do, mind you, but if they're interested in like stopping big bad people in their mind, they could have just like doxed a bunch of people who are selling Glock switches on Instagram or whatever. It's just bizarre. Not that I think they should, but
nope, you got a point.
And of course, that all to illustrate the point. The only reason they're doing this is to make guns more difficult to get
and more
by
expensive.
Targeting the people who, right? Because like illegal gun sellers aren't necessarily liable, right? You have to go and chase them down and fight them. Meanwhile, FFLs who try to do right will so easily accidentally incriminate themselves, where they're like, "Oh yeah, I forgot to have them fill that out." Under the HDF zero policy thing, you admitted fault by saying sorry, and instead you should just sit there and go, "Huh? What? Since when was 13B a thing? What?"
Right. Yeah, no, it's rarted, which is
it's terrible.
Yeah, go look that up if you want to know what rarted is. But yeah, so next up, another one. I feel like we cover these too much, but Oregon has the Grovenauer has signed a Ghost gun bill.
I guess I hadn't heard about this one. Of course, I've been sniffing hot salt ballooning compounds and not watching Twitter this past week. So
this is HB 2005. Let's see what they have to say. Supporters of the bill celebrate its passage as part of a broader effort. After years of work, my colleagues and I took action on ghost guns with House Bill 2005. Oregon Senator James Manning, the bill's chief sponsor, said, "Ghost guns are unserialized and undetectable, making them the gun of choice for gun traffickers, violent criminals, and people legally prohibited from buying firearms." So, like, the Oregon Firearms Federation called the bill clownish and inane.
I like them.
Yeah.
Them right there, they're good.
Yeah. Drake's off to you, OFF.
Woo woo!
But, we've received a number of inquiries about what the bill actually does.
Yeah.
But the bill is so poorly drafted that we can't really answer that question with any certainty.
And so it's interesting.
Yeah.
So these ghost gun bans, by and large, there's like 3 draft bills. I believe Nick Saplina for Everytown is the guy who wrote them. These three different sets of languages, and all 3 of them have like loopholes wide enough you can kind of drive a semi truck through them.
Right.
Although, of course, I'm not going to air them here, especially as cases with these are still unfolding. And the one to hold your breath and watch on was the one out of, was it Delaware? Where Delaware banned ghost guns like 2-3 years ago. Mm-hmm. And there was a preliminary injunction against their ghost gun ban, and I think that's the reason the big gun rights groups have been so hesitant to sue in these other states.
Right.
Because if this one in Delaware cuts the way they want, then they go after everywhere else. Because they got a really unpredicted win there.
Well, so for what this bill actually does, it prohibits manufacture, possession, and sale of unserialized firearms or unfinished frames or receivers. It also bans manufacturing, possession, and selling of undetectable firearms, which are defined as a 3D printed gun made entirely of non-metal substances.
I ban all of those, huh?
That's you've done a lot. You sure done a lot, and that's why OFF, who they couldn't even tell you what it does. But yeah, this is so
hopefully there's
clownish
more,
and inane.
I hope there's more lawsuits over these things, especially after Bruin. I feel like the roadmap for a challenge to this is pretty straightforward, as it seemed like was the case in Delaware. Where
It's also been like other cases have kind of like laid the groundwork, right?
Right,
like,
where it's, if you have a right to own something, mm-hmm. and you have a right to possess something, why would it need numbers on it? Like, right. Especially if you make it yourself, the only way that you could possibly. And this is me being very generous to the history and tradition, because I really don't think it's there, but the only way you could justify serial numbers needing to be on a gun is for interstate commerce. If you do it as a reserved power of the federal government as it applies to interstate commerce, I think there might be a chance that could stick around, legally speaking. As far as a state being able to ban it on its own, I'm not so sure about that. And I feel like the challenge, the way you sort of drive the spike in, is one, Bruin text history and tradition doesn't exist,
right.
And the way you drive that second nail into that coffin is, how do you feel about pre-68 firearms?
Yeah.
The tens of millions of unserialized guns with no serial numbers or serial numbers that mean nothing.
Right.
Or what if you expand that
like
to
M1 Garands?
like prior to 5 years ago.
Which everyone will be like, I'm Garants of serial numbers. Yep, and you'll find quite a few Garants with the same serial number.
Right, because for a long time it was just for manufacturers' reference. There's Auto 5s with matching serial numbers out there where it's like, interesting. And and certainly pre-68, and then prior to 5 years ago, any gun that was over 20 years old. The 4473 didn't need to be retained. You think gun shops were storing those musty boxes in the back still? They're set on fire, they're shredded, they're gone. Or guns that are sold third party more than once. We went over it on the show several months ago, but the ATF had this great big report. Once a gun's older than 5 years old, the chances of it being it's effectively a
untraceable
ghost gun. Yeah. And again, like the thing that just smacks you right in the face. If you're a guy who's out to do a big bad, if you have a regular gun, it's a ghost gun in 5 minutes. It's with a file or a Dremel tool or whatever else. These guns are like hilariously bad intentioned from the get-go. They stop exactly 0 people, more so than any gun control law, right? They stop no one who's intent on doing the thing they're trying to punish from actually doing it.
Right.
It purely strips people of their, if you ask me, the most core exercise of the right to keep and bear arms is to make them for yourself. Because the Founding Fathers' entire conceptualization of that right was guns that they made themselves, largely from parts kits from France.
Yep.
That's the lock, stock, and barrel saying is they'd get the parts illegally from France and build them illegally here and then do funny illegal things with them. Which involves like lobster boils or whatever.
Lobster boils. Yeah. But anyway, speaking of all that, gotta show a sponsor.
Wow, it's a French-oriented company that sells wind chimes.
Wow. That's Mav Corporation. And guys, listeners of the show, with promotional code FRN, that's Foxtrot Romeo November, get a discount. And we've got something special to tell you guys about. We told you about the Mr. Pistol 5 last week. Well, now there's Mr. Pistol 5K.
It's a little guy.
Kawaii edition.
What a cute little guy. What's he doing in there?
It's so cute.
He's a little guy.
It's in stock. You gotta grab it. Won't be around for long.
If it goes out of stock before you got this video, you should have been clairvoyant. Sorry, bub.
Yeah. But the Kawaii edition is great. The Plastikov stuff, that's great.
Yeah, the guy who's doing it is really dragging his feet, but it'll be ready for you guys to be in a beta soon.
I don't know why everything is set by default, because if you want the Plastikov, you don't need all that.
Wow, I'd buy that.
Well, and you don't. This is if you're lazy. So if you're not lazy, Anyway, guys, go to maf-arms.com. Check it out. So next up, guys, we got. This is really substantial here. Massachusetts gun control package is so bad, even the cops hate it. This guy, look at him.
He's one of the cops.
Who's that? It's Plymouth Police Chief Dana A. Flynn. Yeah, he is saying...
What's he carrying? Is that a Smith & Beston?
That's a Smith & Wesson.
Smith & Beston.
Smith & Beston, which are not best.
No.
But so what's in this Massachusetts law? All right, we got our friend at the Reload. He tells us. It is... Yeah, so of course I got the paywall article. That's fine. It's nothing. Carry restrictions... They expanded the state's assault weapons ban.
Because of course they did.
Right, which it's also concerning because I had been holding on to this SP1 lower saying, I'll fix it up and I'll sell it to Massachusetts.
Right.
They're going to get rid of the grandfathering if they get it through. They're going to, ghost guns, of course. Registration requirements. This is significant. I've always said that registration requirements are some of the most pernicious types of gun control. And the bill would require the registration of any firearm or feeding device with the State Department of Criminal Justice Information Service, which would be tasked with documenting the name, address, and contact information of the registrant, license, blah, blah, blah. It also requires you notify the government of any additive manufacturing. That's awful. They got a smart gun provision in there. And it mandates that smart guns are the only viable option for sale once they become available. So, it kind of tracks with the New Jersey shit.
One of those suicide pill laws.
Yeah. Safe storage requirements, permit to purchase procedures, Like, it's a big fat bill. And so, like, again, who enforces the gun laws, right?
It's him, Mr. Smith and Bestern.
Mr. Smith Carrier, Mr. Dana. But yeah, it's not often where you get a law so bad, a gun law so bad, that the Yankee cops post a warning about it. The Ware, Massachusetts Police Department posted a warning to citizens on the Facebook page of just how bad this law was. It said it does not address criminals, rather it focuses on making criminals out of law-abiding citizens and further hampers police agencies from combating true crime. Which, valid.
That's true.
100% valid. A plethora of blatantly unconstitutional proposers litter this travesty of a bill, too many to mention here. However, of particular egregiousness is the criminalization of carrying firearms in certain so-called prohibited locations, including businesses and private properties, even while holding a valid license to carry. Not even off-duty police officers would be exempted from this appalling mandate.
Well, they shouldn't.
Oh, well, is that what you... Oh.
But you have to be on duty to break the law.
Oh. No, but that's that, like... We've seen this in Maryland, Hawaii, New Jersey, right? All these, they were so buck broken by Bruin that they're like, actually, fine, you can have a carry permit, but you can't take it anywhere. Yeah, and it's like, what do you think is going to happen? Like,
I hope the thing that should happen does happen, and I hope it happens to the most people.
That the court slapped them down?
Yes, badly.
Yeah.
Painfully.
Yeah,
I hope it hurts coming out both ends.
That's right. All right, let's talk about something a little different now. We're going to read, we often read lies on this show, but I'm just going to say this. Pew Pew Tactical is, in terms of journalism, sub-garbage. Like, it's certainly below garbage. Have you ever read anything good on Pew Pew Tactical?
No, and then there was one time they stole some of my pictures, and I was like, why you steal my pictures? Give me credit for my pictures. And they didn't let me do that. They didn't do it.
You should have let me know.
No. We bullied them.
The shit out of them. But yeah, best AK alternatives, rifles chambered in 7.62 by 39 and 5.45 by 39. And I was like, all right, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. What are the AK alternatives that you've thought of?
The Kami Colt. The best 7.62 by 39 alternative. The only good one that's not an AK.
The Mini 30.
The Mini 30 is okay.
Yeah, we like the Mini 30.
Mini 30 and the Kami Colt.
I like the Kami Colt too.
Too bad Colt went out of business. If they kept making the Kami Colt, Colt would probably be like the only company making ARs. They put them all out of business.
Yeah. But anyway, so let's see. What do they list? Our top picks. The Banshee, which that's like the most Philistine.
Yeah,
everybody knows the Banshee. I've got one. I like it. It doesn't shoot well, but Maxim Defense PDX. No. Ruger Mini 30. Fair.
I like those.
PTR 32.
The best roller delayed. It was a really close race. We compared all the 7.62 by 39 roller delayed guns on the market. We came to the conclusion PTR 32 is the best buy for your money.
And then the M&M M10X easiest breakdown?
Yeah, because you're going to break down and cry. That's what it is.
That gun is dog.
Yeah, it's bad.
It sucks.
The PTR 32, though, I will have to say.
Best 5.45 pick.
An AK-style rifle.
Yeah, Galil Ace Gen 2.
It's AK-inspired. It's just bad.
Yeah, and see, here they go through all of it. This is just... I'm sorry, this is dog shit.
Just buy a Draco. You know what? We should, if we had the time, if we weren't so lazy, we'd just inspect Element just to make you guys go haha. And just imagine that we did inspect Element and we made the whole site say Draco. Number 1 Draco, 2 Draco, 3 Draco, 4 Draco, 5 Draco, best 5.45.
How much do
Draco?
Draco. How much do you think Eminem paid them to say something not mean about this gun?
I don't know. I hope it was a lot. I hope they made a lot of money off.
What do you feel about this gun?
Conceptually speaking, it's pretty cool because it's the SIGs, right? It's structurally much like the SIG 550s or whatever. I remember this was like the one AK like the one gun ever they gave to Military Arms Channel that he crapped on.
Yeah.
Like, because he gets lots of guns for free, and then,
Yeah.
like, you can tell whenever it's not a good gun, whenever it's not, like, glowing.
Right.
Where it's just like,
He's like, this is fine, it works.
This gun's pretty good. It works. I wouldn't put this gun on a bunch of brake rotors. But this was one of those guns that he was, like, reviewing. He was like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
Had all sorts of issues with it. And it's, again, really cool concept. In fact, it's something that...
It might be good by now. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah. But then I like the best 545 chambered AR-15s and more.
Let's see what they got.
Galil A's.
Yeah, that's an AR.
Galil A's. That's it.
That's the one. So that's
the 545 ARs and more.
I wonder if they just gotten AI writing their articles at this point.
The intellectual equivalent, to be sure. But yeah, this is I'm sorry, but
that's bad.
It's a bad
article.
website. Yeah.
Let's list again for the audience the best. There's number one. There's at least one.
There's number two.
Wow, there's two of them.
Yeah.
Well, these are the best. These are the best A762 alternatives.
Okay, wait, hold on. I think we got a 545 alternative over there.
That's true. And you know what? Just for those of you wondering at home,
yeah.
Wow, there's an alternative in 545 too.
Yeah. Oh, look at that.
Wow. Those are the good Dracos.
Yeah, I love this. It's got Poland in it.
It's a good alternative. The Draco pile.
Yeah, Draco pile. All right. Moving on. The grid. They might take the grid from us. You know that. Give it back. Give it back. Don't take it. You got it. Look. You can go on the 4Patriots. 4Patriots.com. Available. Sign up. Unlock $20. Is your family prepared? Generator protects against dangerous heat waves, freak storms, strained power grids. And look, your wife could have an issue. Just like they did on Fox and Friends. But like, guys, honestly, 4Patriots, it's good stuff. It's survival stuff. It's the stuff that you should be thinking about, emergency food rations, seeds. Seeds is something I know none of you guys thought about.
Seeds are important.
But a seed vault is very important, and you could also buy the Glock seeds.
As Robert McNamara once said, in times of crisis, seeds are power.
Whatever. Go on there, and guys, you're gonna go on there. You're gonna use promotional code FRN Foxtrot Romeo November. You're gonna get 10% off. That's a great discount on being alive, and you can get the therapeutic autism blanket. It's $125. Let's read the reviews. All right, whatever. Fine.
Oh, there we go.
Oh yeah.
Guess my
blood. Guess my blood. Yeah.
Your mom gets my blood pumping in the morning.
He's from Plymouth. Gets my blood pumping in the morning. The mornings were more beneficial to loosen up. Gets your blood flowing, makes it easier to stretch. You get out and think, I really didn't sweat that much. And then look and say, yeah, I did. My husband's an equipment operator, and I'm a hairdresser. We both have really physically taxing jobs, but with the sauna app, we can recover from the comfort of our own home. I love that I can have a sauna while watching TV.
If your equipment operator job is you do hot salt bluing tanks, I want to say that I respect you so incredibly much.
Yeah.
Unless you run, I'm sure, like the automatic ones that I'm sure most big manufacturers use these days, where you just like push a button and it's like, okay, I'll check back in a couple of hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a loser. The guys who do it by hand, like the because we went through that process. It's something, and then it smells bad and it makes your eyes stinky.
Yeah, it makes your throat all scritch.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but it was rewarding, and we learned a lot.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
It's alchemy in real life.
Yeah, no, it turns that Drake was completely all different colors, the kit when I got it. We blasted it, tumbled it, and put it in the solution, and now it's just gorgeous.
And we got it all dry. Like when you wet this with WD-40, it looks like supposedly it's the same chemicals that were used on the 1980s Winchester Model 64s or whatever. Like it's sort of it's a very nice color.
It's very nice.
It's not sort of doesn't necessarily have the depth of the like rust bluing where you polish and redo it and polish and redo it, but that stuff also picks up scratches just by looking at it sideways, and also isn't as actually rust resistant as this process.
Yep.
And so you just have to keep this wet and it looks just about as good. So I think this is good.
Yep, very good. Next up, flat tire leads to a gunfight in North Carolina. Trooper shot in vest with .44 Magnum.
Hey, Jamie, blow that up. What's going on there?
I don't know. That's not the.
Is that a Desert Eagle?
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
It's a Desert Eagle.
Oh my
44.
god!
What the actual hell?
Please tell me there's a video.
Oh, there has to be. It probably hasn't been released yet.
We might have to watch it off of YouTube, but I need to see this. I need to see this so bad. Oh my god.
On the evening of July 23rd, North Carolina State Trooper Jeffrey Dunlap noticed a disabled vehicle. Oh god, and that's horrible. From the media reports, it appears Wesley Scott Taylor, 56, was in the process of changing a tire when Trooper Dunlap, isn't that funny? Dunlap came to stopped to investigate. The interaction was friendly until Dunlap asked Taylor to take
Who gives a fuck? He's not driving. Who gives a fuck?
An alcohol test.
I don't drink, but if I had a flat tire and was having a bad day, it's road soda time.
Yeah. Dunlap says he smelled alcohol. Taylor went to the cab of his truck. Dunlap thought he was obtaining a tool. Oh, no. Yeah, so Dunlap thought he was obtaining a tool to aid in the changing of the tire. Taylor returned with a Desert Eagle, chambered in 44
Did anybody die
Magnum.
here? I hope nobody died.
I don't think so. It would. As reported by the Buncombe County DA, there is reported to be dash cam camera showing video showing the gunfight which ensued. Taylor is reported as firing the first shot, which is said to have occurred moments after the screenshot shown above. Dunlap returned fire and killed Taylor. Let's see the cop version of events. For the State Bureau of Investigation Review, District Attorney Todd Williams said Dunlap pulled over to assist the driver and smelled alcohol. According to Williams, the interaction changed once Trooper Dunlap asked Taylor to take an alcohol test. At that point, some friction erupted, and Mr. Taylor went into his car, and Trooper Dunlap assumed that he was getting other tools to get his tire back on.
I guarantee you, you know what? I know enough cops that I know not a single cop is that dumb.
Right. Well,
no cops are that dumb.
Hold on, let's finish the... and emerged with a .44 Magnum Desert Eagle. At that point, Taylor pulled the trigger, shooting Dunlap in the chest. The bullet was stopped by the vest, where it remained lodged. Dunlap then quickly pulled his gun from its holster and returned fire, killing Taylor.
I feel like if I got shot square in the chest in the bulletproof vest by a .44, I don't think I'd be able to return fire.
Yeah, no, like that's
a little bit of muzzle energy.
No, we gotta give credit here. The cop,
bro, got smoked.
I mean,
and then stayed in the fight.
He stood and fought back. Like, you gotta give respect for that. You gotta give some respect for getting chested at at 0.5 yards.
That's just like it's like a movie. That's a shot from a movie. You can't convince me otherwise.
Yeah,
that's just.
You got chested at 0.5 yards and took him out. I mean, that's impressive.
Oh man.
You gotta agree that's impressive.
Man really went and got the tool from the truck. Be right back. You need to go get some tools.
Oh my god. All right, guys. Last up, we got Patriot Patch Company. Patriot Patch Company, custom-sized patches, apparel, and accessories for any freedom-loving individual. Join the Patch of the Month Club, and you'll get a little endorphin rush every month. $15, it's whatever. Just join it and use promotional code TWIG10, TWIG10, to get a discount courtesy of us. And look, they're a proud partner of the Firearms Radio Network. They're good people. Go on, sign them up. Get it. I have their cleaning mats too. I use their cleaning mat. It has AK on it.
We should tell them to do a Draco Pride worldwide patch.
Yeah.
And it's just a picture of the Earth, except the whole Earth is just taken up by the country of Romania.
Wait a
Romania,
minute.
and it's just Dracos are flying out of the country of Romania.
It's all Romania. Always has
all
been.
the way down.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Ivan, for joining me here at the hole.
Yeah. Next time I'll be a spinning rat again, but...
Yes. So, guys, be sure to complain very heavy. But until
you have to go in the cope section and name your favorite thing. Name the time that the rat came out. And what did the rat do that was funky and fresh? He didn't show up.
Yeah, he didn't show up.
Maybe if you guys have a good idea, then the rat will do it next time. You never know.
Until next time, boys. See you next time.
Go Power Rangers.